What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about the altcoin markets right now. We're going to talk about the altcoins, what we can expect over the coming months for the average altcoin, what alt season might look like by the end of June, what the average rate of growth could be, and if we are going lower at all beforehand. If that sounds good to you, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, you guys. Okay, here we are looking at the others chart. Now, the others chart is the crypto total market cap excluding the top 10 coins. And that's not entirely true. It's the top 125 coins, I believe, excluding the top 10. So it's not the whole crypto market cap, but the top 125 coins is what this is. Okay, so looking at this here, excluding the top 10. Looking at this here, it's essentially an index for the average altcoin, right? It's your altcoin 100 index, right? 100 and I guess that'd be 115. 115, yeah. I don't know why I can't do basic math right now. $205 billion, essentially $204 billion in market cap right now. That's the whole entirety of the altcoin markets, okay? If this chart moves down, the average altcoin moves down. If this chart moves up, the average altcoin moves up. I think a lot of people understand what this chart is. Let's just get into it, okay? From a low to a high, we're on a 4-hour basis. This is our relative low back on the 7th of April. To the relative high that we just had on the 12th. Relative low to high, it does appear as though you want to continue moving down. Generally speaking, when you get below your 236, you don't stop until you at least interact with your 382. Whenever you find resistance on the 236 like this, you definitely likely do go to your 382 or lower, and we could go lower. I wouldn't be surprised at all if we did go lower. In fact, the way that this looks right now, hugging and crowding the 236 as resistance time and time again, you might go down to your golden ratio or at least your 0.5 area. Looking at this on a RSI perspective, yes, rejecting your 50 a couple of times here, pointed and postured to the downside. Looks like you want to go down to me, so let's call for that. Let's make that the assumption here, right? From the current price, I would expect that you would at least go below the 382. That's really not that much, 2%. I'm expecting Bitcoin to drop about 4%, so I don't know about that. I would think if Bitcoin drops 4%, you would drop more percent, right? Average altcoins, so probably your golden ratio, yeah. You could stop in your golden ratio area there at about 192 billion, maybe 192 billion, which would provide an average drop of 6% for the average altcoin, maybe a 7.5% drop for the average altcoin, something like that. Or, of course, you could go lower. You could go lower, and the fact that Bitcoin's dropping 4%, I could see the average altcoin dropping 9 to 10% or even more than that, right? Something like this, going down to this 886 here, forming some kind of a double bottom, maybe something as much as, I suppose even 20% of a drop. The average altcoin still, and let's just be very blunt here, Bitcoin and the average altcoin, not all of them, but the average altcoin, they have not validated their lows. So the notion that we could go lower than the April 7th lows, it's very much on the table and should be addressed. I don't think this happens, but I accept it as a possibility. 18% drop, 20% drop at the most maybe. Could happen for the average altcoin, but if Bitcoin drops 4%, I don't see the average altcoin dropping 20%, guys. So what I would more likely see is something between about, let's say, 12 to 8%, and 12%, less than 12% would actually put you at the 886. So let's refine that even a little bit more. An 11.5% drop. 8% is right here, just above the 786. So we're gonna call for the 786 to 886. I think that's the area to go for, yeah. If not, at a bare minimum, I think we could see, a 7% drop or so, 6 to 7% drop, maybe even like a 7.5% drop. But I think if we expect, if we're looking at about like a 9 to 12% drop, something like that would be the most appropriate. And that likely happens. We're looking at this on the 4-hour time frame. That likely happens over the coming days, right? This isn't going to take weeks. This isn't going to take months to happen. It could take 4 hours, and then you're done. I think it's going to be fast. I think it's going to happen over the coming days, over the next like 2 or 3 days. Hold on here, guys. Let me fix this real quick. Let's see. Something's going on. Oh, my computer's about to die. That's why. Run up. We're going to run it a little bit faster because I don't like how it was like glitching a little bit there because it was in power save mode. But anyways, a little bit of a drop to come. I think we're going to move consistently at this pace, maybe even pick up in pace a little bit. It's the 15th now, so seeing a move down like this, that'd be by the 17th of April. Hell, it could be by the 18th of April, something like that. But over the coming days, I think that's what's going to happen. The average coin's going to move down. This is not me saying sell. Okay, I do trade personally. I like to trade. It's fun, and I like to trade because it helps make money, a little bit of extra cash. When I trade, I wish I had my chips in front of me. It would be a perfect example right now. But when I trade, I use a very small portion of my total bag, right? I'm talking about less than 5% of everything that I hold in crypto. It's a very small, less than 3%, right? Like they're probably about 3%, but it's a very small portion of my total portfolio, right? I don't trade a lot, or I do trade a lot. I just don't trade a lot of my money. I am not saying sell by saying this, right? Most of my money is still in crypto. I expect the price to come down. I'm not selling, even though I expect it to go down. The reason why is I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'd rather make money being wrong than being wrong and missing out on money. I don't know why I'm having a hard time talking right now, but essentially, essentially, I'm not saying sell. I'm saying wait to buy. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Do whatever you want to do. If you want to buy more, go ahead and buy more. You know, if you want to sell, go ahead and sell. Do your own thing. But I think if you wait like a day or two, I think you'll have prime buying opportunities. I would expect, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, but if you took the average coin that you're looking at and you placed buy orders about 6 to 12% below the current price, those orders would probably get hit. 12% not as likely, 6% very likely, but something in between I think is likely where we're going to go for the average altcoin. There's going to be coins that drop less. There's going to be coins that drop dramatically more. It's not every coin, it's just the average altcoin, right? As Ben Cohen would say, I'm not talking about your coin, I'm just talking about the average coin, not your coin. That's anyways, he's funny, man. Ben Cohen's really funny. He's got that dry humor. Anyways, he's a smart guy. Let's see, what else are we talking about besides other YouTubers here? $205 billion now, yes. So after that downward movement, however dramatic it might be, I'm expecting that the average altcoin does recover. And I am expecting that the average altcoin has found their lows, though we haven't validated it yet. So maybe I shouldn't take this. We'll run with this fib. Just understand, you see the 1272, this target here. If I move this down, that target only goes up. Okay, so we're being conservative here. But the average altcoin, I think, from here will grow, will break out of this high. We'll see new highs relative to anything they've seen this cycle. I think that we're going to see a nice alt rally happen, okay? From the current price, from the current valuation of the altcoin market cap, the minimum target is about a 2.8x, 185%. And I don't know about you guys, but we've been consolidating as an altcoin market basically since March of 2024, for over a year, right? We've been consolidating. This whole consolidation phase here. I don't think we're going to stop at the first target area after breaking out, consolidating for a year. I don't think that's where we're going to stop. I would think that we actually would at least go to the golden ratio. That's my expectation personally, which turns that 180% move into about a 300% move. That's about a 4x for the average altcoin, right? From a high to a low here, your last cycle's high in 2021 to the low in January 2023, or December, sorry, 2022, January, December, whatever, December 2022. The minimum target here is at 838 billion, which is right in line with that 1618. And I'll use the same logic. I don't think that we stop here at our minimum target after consolidating for this much time. I think we could stop momentarily there, right? We could stop momentarily. I just don't think this will be, right, different perspective. High to low, end of cycle perspective. High to low here, next move perspective. Our next move, I don't think we hit the minimum target. Our end of cycle, I don't think we hit the minimum target. But the minimum target here lines up very well with the golden ratio, the 1618 there. I could see that happening, right? The average altcoin, essentially, what I would call for is to see about a 4x in price growth. If you're looking at a crypto, in other words, just think about it this way. If you're looking at a coin, not in the top 10. If it's in the top 10 and it sees less growth than this, that's fine. You're trading growth potential for security potential, right? There's a fine exchange with that, right? You get the safer the bet, the less reward. The riskier the bet, the more reward. But there's a lot of risk too. People only hear reward whenever you say higher risk, higher reward. They're like, higher reward, higher risk is a thing, right? And there's a lot of smart investors that literally stay away from risk. They stay to the top 10, to the top 20 coins, and they're like, you know what, a 4x is nice, but I'll take my 2x, my 3x, and be happy because I've got plans with this money. It's serious to me. You want to feel secure. I get it. I respect it. Anybody who's investing in the top 10 coins and you don't see this kind of growth, that's fine. But I think that there will be top 10 coins, there will be cryptos in the top 10, top 20 that will see this kind of growth, if not even more, by the end of this next move, which I think will take place over the coming months. By the end of June, I think we'll be in this area. But essentially, getting away from it, trying to come back to it, what I'm saying is I think the average altcoin will see a 4x At a minimum, I would think we see the average altcoin see about a 3.5x, but a 4x, 3.5 to 4x. Potentially at the most, we could see a 5 to 5.5x. Yeah, something like that. I could see that happening. I don't think we get above $1 trillion. I don't think that's what happens. I mean, maybe we flirt with that area, we get around there, and that 5.5x could promote that right there. But higher targets than that, more growth than that is saved for the end of the cycle. So what we have here is a standard. We have a nice standard to kind of base our charts off of, right? Let me make sure the computer's not going to die. Okay, cool. The standard being that if you're looking at an altcoin, not inside the top 10, this is where I got distracted. If you're looking at an altcoin and it doesn't have 4x potential, 5x potential, at least 3.5x potential by the end of June. If you're looking at a chart, if you're looking at something and you can't see it growing that much, you should look elsewhere, because the average coin doesn't really matter. You could throw a dart at a board with it blindfold on, hitting a random crypto, and you'll hit something that's going to give you a 3.5x or more. If you're holding a coin that doesn't have those kind of prospects in mind, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, this is just how I think and how I go about my business. This is a standard to build from. So whenever I see coins that have 10x potential, I know that I'm picking winners. Everything is going to perform, right? The thing is, we're all buying our tickets right now. We're buying our tickets to whatever show, the Bitcoin show, the XRP show, the Litecoin show, the Ethereum show, whatever it might be. Onyx Coin, if you know me, the Onyx Coin show, right? Every show is going to perform. They're all starting soon. You're going to have coins that underperform. You're going to have coins that perform on average, maybe even a little bit above average. And you're going to have coins that outperform, right? We want the coins that outperform. We're here to make money, right? We're here to support the tech. Of course we are, but we're here to make money. You know, that's why we're here. We want the coins that are outperforming the markets. So if you're looking at this standard and you see something that's at a 3.5x to a 5.5x potential, and then you're looking at something that has more potential than that, you're looking at something, you're buying a ticket essentially to a show that'll be better overall performance than anything else over the coming months. I don't know if I can make any better sense of that, but essentially getting away from the point here, or getting back to the point, trying to end the video, I expect the average altcoin to move up about 4x. Let's just keep it at that, 4x, 3.5 to 5.5x, but around 4x by the end of June. That's the expectation, by the end of June. And I also expect that over the coming days, over the next 2 or 3 days, we will probably see a little bit of a 6 to 12% pullback across the board. Okay, so it's a great time to buy now. It'll be a great time to buy tomorrow and probably even the next day. It will not be a great time to buy in a month, in 2 months. So if you want to get in, this is your time to get in. Okay, don't mess around. If you've got money on the sidelines, park it. It's a great time to get into crypto. Your altcoins will 4x at a minimum is my expectation. And actually, to end the video on a very bullish note, by the end of the cycle, what I'm anticipating is that the altcoins will continue to grow. Right? Again, talking about the minimum target not being our end of cycle destination. No, I don't think so. I don't think the altcoin market stops at a $1.65 trillion market cap. No, sir. I think that we go higher. I really do think that the altcoin market is going to see something above a $6 trillion market cap. But the 2272 says 5.93. Why are you saying above 6? Because this area, you actually oftentimes do go above it just a little bit. And that little bit above it there, that's basically 7 trillion right there. You know, like right there, that's $7 trillion right there. So the average altcoin over the coming months is going to 4x. That was my chair. Okay. It's a squeaky chair. My daughter likes to play in it, so that's kind of why I blame her. But it's also an old chair. But anyways, 4x is the minimum over the coming months. But by the end of the cycle, by the end of this year, by the end of Q4, I think the average altcoin is going to see something closer to a 30x. That's my expectation. If you're looking at a coin that doesn't have 30x potential from the current prices, what are you doing? Right? This drop gave us an opportunity to see more growth, because I very much do expect that we're going to see the 2272. Now, let's say that doesn't happen. Let's say we only hit the 1886. That's a 13x to a 17x potential. Right? If you're not on board with that, let's at least get on board with this. This is, and even still, down here, this is pathetic, I think, but even like an 8x potential at a minimum, right? If you're looking at coins that don't even have 8x potential by the end of the cycle, in my opinion, if you're looking at coins that don't have 30x potential by the end of the cycle, what are you doing? Look elsewhere. Your altcoins will 25 to 30x, maybe even more than that by the end of this cycle. your altcoins will 4x or more than that by the end of June. That's the expectation, okay? I've got nothing else for you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.